TV.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Out of the Fog. I'm your host, Laura Beltonba, and today's episode we have a stellar lineup for you. I'm going to be joined by the one and only vegan chef, Marian White. Also get the chance to talk to Deputy Mayor Sheila O'Leary about an upcoming art exhibition, and we also get to climb things with Cove Bouldering. So sit back, relax, and we'll get right to it. Welcome back, everyone. I'm now joined by the one, the only. I was introduced to her as the vegan chef, Miss Marian Frances White. Marian, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, really a pleasure to be here.
So I'm so excited to have you here because I got to know about you from your daughter, Anna Harrio, who was also a guest here a few episodes ago. And when we were chatting, she was like, you have to meet my mom because she is so cool. And then we started talking about why you were so cool. And you absolutely are. So I guess for our viewers who are watching, I was introduced to you as the vegan chef. So how did you become the vegan chef?
Oh gosh, it really does go back quite a number of years now. In fact, the cookbook, Island Vegan, is a celebration of my 50 years now as a vegan in this province.
Wow. 50 years. Okay.
No.
So not a day over 35, but yet you have 50 years of veganism.
Oh gosh. So, we have to say, how did it all begin?
Yes, please. How did it begin?
I guess I was on a journey of self-discovery in terms of health. How do we, sustain health in our lives? And of course, this was pre the internet, but I did find a lot of books and various references in libraries even to this place in Boston where you could go and study to explore food as a pathway to health.
Okay.
So I went to Hippocrates Health Institute and spent several months there, which was a very unique opportunity, to say the least.
Okay, so what was unique about this place?
Well, typically, if you think in a kitchen, you're going to see a fridge and a stove and all kinds of knives and everything. But in this kitchen, there was no fridge and there was no stove. So that in itself was pretty different.
Yeah. So no fridge, no stove.
I know.
Okay.
It was trays of seeds being sprouted. So that you had broccoli sprouts and mung bean, alfalfa, you even sprouted lentils.
Okay.
So all the food, chickpeas were sprouted. So all these things that you ordinarily would cook, they were sprouting, and then maybe grinding it to make a paste or of course salads. Salads were everywhere.
Yes. Okay, and so you were at Apothecaries, and then how did we end up back home?
Well, I love Newfoundland, Labrador, and this is my home. I did travel extensively, both in France and in Jamaica, one of my favorite places, and actually it had a huge influence on me in terms of diet. And I cook a lot with coconut milk, which is one of the wonderful ingredients that you find in Jamaican cooking. And so a lot of what I have in Island Vegan is a combination of what I learned and studied in Boston, but also in my travels, French cooking as well as Jamaican cooking.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so that is so cool. So this book, Island Vegan, is a culmination of 50 years. So over 50 years, you've had some wonderful experiences. So
absolutely.
What would you say as you looked back and were creating this book, were one of the ones that stood out and be like, this is why I do what I do?
Yeah, well, I think that one, I go back to my mother's kitchen. I grew up in a huge family in small town, Carbonear, Newfoundland. And of course, you know, back then, your vegetables were your primary source of food, and the other fish and meat were more the savory things that went along with it. So I credit my mother for a lot of her love of vegetables and how they were grown around us, and then also made into soups and various roasts and stews and all those wonderful things that we have in our Newfoundland culinary tradition. But outside of that, in my travels, one of the things that I always loved was pâté.
Okay.
And of course, making a veggie pâté was quite a challenge. And I was lucky enough one year, this wonderful woman from Montreal came to St. John's and to teach French. And her name was Lorraine Desjardins, and she became a good friend of mine. And so I talked to her about how I'd love to spend some time perfecting a pâté.
Okay.
So that is one of my signature dishes. And her father was a French pâté maker.
Okay.
So she came by it honestly, and through her we used all these ingredients like Newfoundland traditional, like potato and onion, but then add other things to it, herbs, lots of thyme, savory, which is of course a very well used herb in this province, and then adding other things like sunflower seeds and nutritional yeast and flours that people maybe weren't so used to, like coconut flour and rice flour, and making a blend of these and then baking it to perfection, and then serving it either warm, you know, or on crackers as an hors d'oeuvre.
Okay, so I'm hungry right now. And so I got you for about 2 more minutes. So I have, we have the original Island Vegan Chef, but you have another one coming out.
I do. I often am working on things simultaneously, and this book is called In Her Glory. It's a celebration of my mother's life and my father's, but a focus on my mother, and it's a book of prose and poetry that will be published by Boulder Books in fall 2024. So I'm looking forward to that, and it's been a great experience to gather the last several years of my writing and to have it come out in book form.
So your daughter was absolutely right when she said my mom is the coolest. So I got 1 minute.
She's a very cool young woman, so for her to say that, that's a very nice feather for me to wear.
Honestly, I got 1 minute here before I have to let you go. If people want to find you, where are we looking for your books, for everything about the wonderful Marian White?
Well, I do have a website. It's www.marianfranceswhite.com. And of course, Boulder Books will be happy to have you contact them for orders for their books, and Breakwater Books, who did a wonderful job in publishing Island Vegan.
Marian, it's been an absolute pleasure. I could spend so much more time talking to you, finding out about the complexities of vegan chef life, but thank you for joining me today.
Oh, it's been my pleasure. Thank you very much. Wonderful to be here.
And we'll be right back, everyone.
Your opinion matters, and we want to hear from you. Get in touch with us using our viewer feedback line, your direct connection to shaping the shows you love. It's easy. Just grab your phone, scan the QR code on your screen, and take our quick survey. Share your thoughts, and let's make your viewing experience even better.